What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy the D here, coming at you with another Monster Hunter Rise discussion video. Last couple of days, I think it was around New Year's or something. It's been at least a few days. Capcom teased they were going to be having an event in January, today, January the 7th, dropped at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time where I am. So got into work, was eating breakfast, was watching along with the presentation. Not a bad presentation. I'll go ahead and I'll say it wasn't a bad presentation by any means. And that's just not like being negative or anything like that. It wasn't a bad presentation. We got some monster announcements. We got a new locale. We got a lot of new in this, and it's interesting to say the least. Like, at the very, 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 very bare minimum, you can say it's interesting. Yeah. So they had the presentation. It wasn't a long presentation. I believe the presentation itself was only like 20 or so minutes. Yeah, but they talked about some things, some new mechanics. Well, a new mechanic. Well, it's not even really a new mechanic. And I'm gonna get to that later in the video. But yeah, but before we get started, just want to go ahead and say, hey, thank you to everybody who watches these videos. I really do appreciate it. And just want to go ahead and tell y'all that, oh, and we got a release date for the demo, which is today, January 7th. Earlier when the quote unquote direct, when the event was happening, it wasn't released, but I think around like 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it was released. So I have it downloaded on my Switch, but I haven't played it yet. I want to actually do a live stream and actually test some shit like on stream. So if you want to watch that, I'm not streaming today, January 7th. Work was kind of rough. Just really irritating, and I'm kind of tired because I was supposed to do another stream tonight. Not this, but something else. But I was like, you know what? I'll go ahead and I'll just skip that, and I'll actually stream tomorrow. I don't know if I'm gonna do like a really long stream, but I am gonna do a stream. Speaking of which, what I'm gonna show on screen right now, and I'm gonna actually record like a little thing for this for future reference. But if you do want to watch my stream, it's gonna be tomorrow, January 8th. You can follow me at THE_D_2020. That's my Twitch handle. So if you want to watch, and it'll be like later on in the day, it'll probably be because I get off at 5. I work a regular 9 to 5. So probably be around like 7 to 8ish. I want to say give me a chance to get home because it takes me like 30 or so minutes to get home, and I'll get home, chill for a little while, then I'll want to play it and stream it because I'm going to test out my main weapons. Also, I am going to do another wants video because this trailer actually confirmed something that I'd really wanted. If you haven't watched my Monster Hunter Rise wants video, I definitely say go check it out. I'm trying to see if I can put a card in here, but if not, I'll put a link in the description. But definitely go check that out because something that I was actually hoping would come back actually did, and I'm really happy about it. Really happy, like really happy. But yes, but without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get right into it. All right, so starting off in the trailer, we see a frozen wasteland, which we now know is the Frost Isles. First impressions, looks pretty cool. We have an ice map. Because of course, as we all know, with Monster Hunter games, we have a variety of maps. We have our jungles, our forests, which yes, there's a difference. We have our marshes, like swampy places. Like now we have the Shrine Ruins, which is kind of like swampy at points. I don't know if we're gonna get like a true swamp, but we have that. But yeah, we have our ice maps, which this is going to be yet again the Frost Isles. So it's a bunch of islands with frost. It's snowy. It's the tundra winter place that we're gonna hunt in. Okay. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. We didn't see a lot of it. It actually reminds me a lot of the damn, what is that place called? The Hoarfrost Reach from Monster Hunter World Iceborne. Yeah, it reminds me of that. Not just that, but because it's more foresty, because a lot of the ice variation maps that we've had in the past, mostly because the first one that I ever hunted on was damn, what was its name? I think it was just called the Tundra in Monster Hunter 3 Try and 3 Ultimate. I think there were a couple of trees, but mostly we hunting caves and just flat ice fields, snow fields. Like there was no really vegetation. But this one, there's a lot of vegetation. Of course, there are high cliffs. And even in the trailer, you can see as the hunters are deploying for the hunt, like I guess they're leaving wherever the camp is and going out into the world. You can see a really big mountain in the background with a couple of like, not balconies, but cliffs on different sides. Like there's like levels to this shit. It's like it's kind of like an apartment building with a bunch of balconies at different levels, like some weird apartment building. But yeah, that's in the background. There is water. Yet again, no pools. Yet again, I'm still holding out hope for underwater hunting, but it's probably not gonna happen. But yeah, so they're gonna be a lot of tall cliffs, because yet again, this game's as far as its movement aesthetic is gonna be verticality. They're really pushing verticality. So there's gonna be a lot of places for wire bugs. But yeah, like I said, it reminds me a lot of the Hoarfrost Reach. It just does off first glance. Get again. Not with this. Now, like I said, with the demo, there are only 2 hunts. We probably are only going to get to explore the shrine ruins. Well, we're only going to explore the shrine ruins unless they come out with another demo in maybe early mid-March and they let us go here. But at least for right now, we're just going to be in the shrine ruins. So, like I say, it reminds me of the Hoarfrost Reach. I could be completely wrong on that. Like I said, it's the Frost Islands. So apparently, from what it seems like, it's either an island or islands, like an archipelago, for you to hunt across. Because yet again, they're going for more big maps. So there's that. Looks dope. I'm gonna do a quick little cliff notes version. I'm gonna go kind of go through the trailer and then talk about some things in depth. Or I don't know, fuck it, man. I'm just gonna talk about this shit. But yes, the next big thing in the trailer, we saw some Antica, which they're back. The Antica, the kind of like little moose deer thingies. Well, moose deer, antelope, gazelle, whatever the fuck they are. The motherfuckers got antlers, okay? They're in that species, they're in that realm of herbivore. And they're running from a monster. And it's here that we get the first reveal of a new monster. I think it's a fanged beast. See, at first when I saw it, I thought it was going to be like a subspecies or something of Arzuros, but it isn't. It's its own thing. Gos Harag. Now, this one is interesting because yet again, one thing that you should have been noting about this entire thing, about the monster designs in this game for the new monsters, they're all based off yokai. Because we have Tetranodon, I believe, or either Tetradon or Tetranodon, which is I think it's supposed to be like a fat Gappa. Let me see who else. We have Aknosom, which is there's a yokai that's based off it's like a living sentient umbrella, and that's what Aknosom is. I don't know what Izuchi is, but I know Magdamala is something like Will o' the Wisps. I can't remember its name, but the Somnicanth it's like a woman with a fish body. Let me see who else we got. I'm trying to think of the new monsters because they're the ones that really have that they really have that yokai aesthetic, and this one's no different. Because when you first see it, you don't really get it, but when you see it in one of the sequences, because they flash up a couple of sequences of it attacking, it looks like an ogre, like a traditional Japanese ogre. Like that's what it looks like, and I wouldn't be surprised if one of these days we got a Tengu monster, which would be pretty cool. But yeah, it looks like an ogre. Now with this monster, it's really interesting. Yet again, it pushes the boundary of quote unquote what a monster is to a certain degree, because Now, monsters have used tools, like the Kuliaku would pick up the rock, and even the Glavenus, its tail is pretty much a sword that it does use pretty effectively. But this time, it will use its, and hold on, it also reminds me of Volcana. Because, Volcana, it's a dragon, pretty cool. But it'll cover its body in ice, and it'll have this like the ice armor. The Gosharag does something similar. It'll use its ice breath to freeze its right arm over and then form it into a blade, to which it can then try to smack you with. It even has some ice breath attacks. Now, I could have sworn I turned that damn ringer off. All right, and Gosharag, it really pushes the boundary of what a monster is, because years ago, I remember I was in a GameStop, and one of the employees was like, yeah, they're gonna, come out with monsters that, use weapons. Now, me and somebody I was with, we looked at each other like, bruh, fuck no. And it kind of looks like, it's kind of happening. Just not like, because the way he made it sound like, the monsters were going to use like bow guns and shit. No, just monsters were going to be able to use weapons. And some people may think, I've heard nobody say this yet, but just predicting the argument. Some people may think like, oh man, that's not cool. Monsters don't do, like animals don't do that. Yeah, they do. Like, there's species of monkeys that use rocks as like they use tools. Hell, even sea otters, they use rocks to break open clams. Not monsters, animals using tools. That is perfectly valid. Like, some of these monsters are really old and really smart. There's no way, like, especially elder dragons. I would not be surprised if some of the elder dragons could kind of use tools. Hell, Volcana does. Like I said, it uses its ice power instead of just blowing cold air at your ass. What it'll do is it'll condense the cold air around it into armor and wear it like that, and use its tail as a spear. So it makes sense. But yeah, yet again, I can tell it's not gonna be one of my favorite monsters to hunt. Not because it won't be a fun fight. It's just it's like okay, gotta see its weapons, and I don't know, just from what I can imagine, its armor may not be my cup of tea, but hey, it is a pretty cool monster. Not my favorite, but really cool. But we have other monster returning things to talk about. Other monsters that are returning we have to talk about. One very notable. I'm gonna go through everybody who was named, and then go through everybody who was like slick just put in there. Another Lagambi. Lagambi first appeared in Monster Hunter Portable 3rd, and then Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate here in the West. Lagambi, it's a mix between a polar bear, a koala, and with characteristics of a penguin. It slides around on its stomach, and it's really annoying. And not a lot to say, because like I said, this one has been in games. It's been in Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. It's been in Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. So it's not a new monster. It just hasn't been in a game since Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. So it's been like 2 years. It's been out of the game, quote quote, for 2 years. I know it's armor and stuff. Not yet again, its armor and stuff isn't a set that I like to wear. But yet again, it's back. It's cool. It's cool. It's a variety. It's not a bad hunt. Just not something that I really want. But hey, it's not all about me. Some people love Lagambi. I'm just not one of those people. Now, the Great Baggy. So it looks like something I said in a previous video. Not a previous video, but from where I was looking, when the Great Roggy got announced, I think it was the last new update that they gave us. The Great Roggy got announced, which is yet again really cool. So it looks like they're bringing back the greats, like the Great Baggy, the Great Roggy, and the Great Jaggy might be next. Those early game buried wyverns that, probably some of your first armors are going to be made out of them. Because I remember Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate in Monster Hunter 3 Try, I believe that the Great Jaggy's armor was that first armor that I made. So I have a full set of armor. So there's that, the Great Baggy. For some of you who don't know, because he hasn't been in the game since Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, so it's been a really long time since we've seen it. It uses sleep. Like how the Great Roggy uses poison, it uses sleep. So it'll spray poison at you in order to, you know, put you to sleep and then attack you. It's not very strong. Its attack pattern's pretty predictable, and even then, like, it doesn't spray sleep as a gas. At least it didn't in the old game. So it might, you know, they might throw some new tricks in there to kind of trip you up. But I'm so sorry for bumping the mic that time. But even then, I think that it's like, even its armor wasn't really all that cool, at least to me. But yet again, it's something to wear, good sleep resistance, and I believe its weapons even have sleep in them. So, you know, if you need to put something to sleep, you might try the great baggy weapons. Next, which I'm kind of excited about, Kizu. I don't know. No, it was the I was talking about in the once video. But yes, Kizu, which, as you can see, I put a picture on screen. Kizu is pretty fucking creepy. Like, when it comes to creepy monsters, I think Kizu probably takes the cake. Like, those teeth, that body, and it's a fun fight, but it's very annoying. Because Kizu, you need to be really reminiscent. Well, not reminiscent. You need to be really cognizant of the electricity that it spews. Because it doesn't just give you Thunderblade, which, you know, makes it easier if you get stunned. It also paralyzes you. It can pin you. Kizu's a really, really annoying. It can be a really annoying monster if you let it be. Try Kizu like he's stupid, and he will show you that he is real in every sense of the word. But yeah, good to see Kizu back. So it got its armor, its weapons, and I think a couple of I think we saw its hunting horn, and I don't know if we saw any of its other weapons, but yeah, Kizu, thunder element equipment, good electricity resistance. Good to see Kizu back. Let me see. There's Great Baggy, Gosarag, Kizu. And then there is Tigrex. Well, yeah. Well, I think it's Tigrex. They say Tigrex. I say Tigrex. Like Tigrex. Like Tigrex. Like, even if you try to just say Tigrex, it sounds like saying the Tigrex. That's how I say it. That's how I've always said it. First made its appearance in Monster Hunter 2, I believe. One of the biggest pains in the ass. Like, that's a fight that can get annoying. I like fighting Tigrex, but even I have to admit, like, after a while, that shit gets annoying. But yeah, Tigrex is back. Not a lot to say. Yet again, it'll probably be taking more of its movement style from Monster Hunter World, which is cool, you know, more fluid, which means it's more annoying. But, and it's in this part of the trailer that we get to some of the new mechanics. Now, if you've been part of the Monster Hunter community, if you've been really, I'm not a speedrun person, I'm not a meta player. So if you ever, you know, hear me talking about what to do, just know I'm gonna give you the non-meta option. I really don't see the point in playing meta in a game if you don't play competitively against other people. It's just not my thing. But, you know, with the Clutch Claw that was introduced in Iceborne, they were really trying to nerf it, or, you know, because it kind of unbalanced the game a little bit, especially with the flint shot. And I guess this is what they came up with, but the monster riding, or monster mounting, however it's called. I'm not gonna put anything on screen. It's the hold on, wait, trying to get a specific name. Wyvern riding. Yes. So pretty much what happened in the trailer is that the hunter took 4 pieces of silkbind, the iron thread, put them around the monster, and then was able to control them. And the interesting thing about this is you can, you know, run monsters into walls, kind of like, you know, the Clutch Claw, but also you can control it, make it fight other monsters, and you can use it to traverse the environments. Let's say, you know, y'all are fighting, let me see, who would we fight? Like Rathalos. Let's say you're fighting a Rathalos, and there's a Tigrex in the area. You know, you might break off like, hey y'all, 3 of y'all go ahead and fight Rathalos. I'll be back. I'm going after Tigrex. Bruh, we don't need to go after the Tigrex. Don't worry, bruh, I got this. So y'all are fighting the Rathalos. Like, okay, you know, this is kind of hard. You know, we wish we had our 4th man. You know, it's the game, it's optimized for a 4-man quest. Next thing you know, all you hear is Tigrex's roar, and then Tigrex starts coming through, slapping the fuck out of Rathalos, and it's like, what? So yeah. So this is a thing. Like, I'm probably not gonna make another video on it. Also, what this reminds me of, Monster Hunter Stories. Now, I remember them saying back when the game was first announced, when they first announced Monster Hunter Stories and this game, Rise, when they first announced, they were like, hey, it's going to be some kind of crossover content. This isn't it, but this ties into it. It was probably like some way to get mounts or something. This has something to do with how these games intersect. Because I'm not gonna lie, this seems even more overpowered than the Clutch Claw, but I'm not gonna lie, it does seem cool. Like in the trailer, you take the Tigrex and you're running him through the Frost Islands, and even towards the end of the trailer, there's a Rathalos fighting a Magnamalo. Well, you're fighting the Magnamalo or the Rathalos, and the one or the other comes in and kind of fucks it up. Which this also confirms that Turf Wars are back. So yeah, so what the Hunters end up doing, ends up taking control of the Rathalos and using it to fight the Magnamalo. So yeah, and I saw a meme that says, hey, I'm a Hunter main. What are you? And the other guy was like, I'm a Tigrex main. The person's like, oh, that's cool. And he's like, wait a minute, what does that mean? The person gets on a Tigrex. Well, I think they said Zenogre, but anyway, which Zenogre is probably going to be in this game. That's one of the more popular monsters. I'd be surprised if it wasn't. But yeah, that was really interesting. So yeah, in the demo, I'm going to be trying that out because I like aerial styles. In Monster Hunter World, I love the verticality they gave the sword and shield. That's my main weapon. So I would be in the air all the time. And same thing in Generations Ultimate. I play aerial sword and shield. Yet again, not the meta thing, but that's what I like. It makes hunts easier for me. But yeah, so and I like to mount. So this is really gonna it's really going to change the game. Like it's gonna make, especially if we have the ability. If it's like in World where you can fight multiple or Elder Dragons, like let's say you're fighting Teostra and Chameleos or Kuslador show up. If you can mount that Kuslador, you can use it against the Tigre and not against Teostra, and that's gonna be nuts. That shit's going to be ridiculous. But it's pretty cool to see. Next, yet again, another rapid round for the most part. Because we did get some. Well, there was a big announcement at the end for a monster returning, but until then, there were some monsters that were kind of subtly sprinkled throughout the direct. Well, not the direct, the event. I keep calling it direct. I'm just used to Nintendo doing this shit. Let me see. First off is going to be Barioth. Barioth is back. Now, Barioth, it's funny Barioth's back because it kind of took a hiatus. It was in Monster Hunter. It was in Monster Hunter third generation. Then it came back in Generations Ultimate, and then it came back in World. So it's like, okay, so they're starting to use it a little bit more. So that's cool. And yet again, I love its armor. That's one of my original favorite monsters. Not my favorite monster, that's Lagiacrus, but still one of my favorite monsters. I love that it's returning. Who else? Damn, who else is coming back? One of the new characters rides in on a not rides in on a, but they ride a little toad. Now the toad has tusks, and if you play Monster Hunter, especially the 4th generation and Generations Ultimate, you'll know that's Tetsukabra. It's an amphibian, which I love. Like I said, in World, they were kind of limited in scope and kind of the monsters that they used. So it's really good to see them trying to use leviathans, which I'll get there in a second. Like they're trying to use leviathans and amphibians, some of the type of monsters that weren't present in World. So I'm really excited about that. This, like I said, this has me really, really, really excited for some of the things that we're gonna get now. That we're not limited by World scope of only having like 2 types of damn skeleton. But yes, so there's that. And let me see. Yeah, Barioth. I'm trying to think. I'm watching the trailer right now, so that's kind of why I'm kind of stalling for time. I might cut this out. Of what other monsters are there, at least. Hold on. Um, hold on. Yeah, I'm gonna have to cut this out. Future me. Cut. Okay, so no, it's none of that. But yeah, so Tetsu Copper is gonna be in there. But yeah, so those were the only monsters that were kind of stealth dropped. And then I have some other stuff to talk about, so I'm gonna go ahead and talk about this. In my Monster Hunter Wants video, one of the monsters that I wanted to see come back, well, besides all Leviathans, but the Leviathan species is making a return. One of the Fated Four, because when Glavenus was announced for Monster Hunter World Iceborne, I was like, wait a minute, Glavenus is part of a set of 4 monsters. It's Glavenus, Astalos, Gameth, and Mizutsune. At the end of the trailer, we can see that Mizutsune is coming back. And it's also one of the quests that you can take on in the demo. But yeah, like, I think I spoke a lot about how Mizutsune moves and everything in the Wants video, so definitely check it out there. But yeah, good to see Mizutsune back. But yeah, this does make me hope that we get to see the other Fated Four. Gameth. It's a monster that I really like fighting. The bubble, its bubble power can be really interesting and make things really hard, especially with the new movement, system, like movements being more fluid and being better animated. So it's really, it's just good to see, and I really hope the other members of the Fated Four. I mean, Glavenus can make a return, cool, but since Gameth, Astalos, and Mizutsune weren't in World, I think we should just leave Glavenus out. Or we don't have to. I can fight some more Glavenus. Hopefully, if they bring Glavenus back, they fix his fucking weapons, because them shits in World were ugly as fuck. They were garbage. But yes. Let me see. Gonna do a little bit of monster speculation. Like I said, I hope they're back. Narjarala, Lagiacrus, I think they're coming back. I don't know. But yes, other than that, we learned a little bit about some of the other, characters. There's the buddy handler who helps you with your buddy. We're getting, your Palamutes and Palicos. There's the Palicos in charge of deploying the Meowcenaries. There's some trader who's apparently from another country that might play into, whatever G-Rank expansion we have in this game. And also the training grounds gets an upgrade. Now, the training grounds has always been a thing. You go, you practice combos, blah, 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 especially in World where you can see like the combos on the screen, kind of like a fighting game. Now, in this game, they take it a bit further. Normally, like at least for me, I rarely ever used the training ground for like serious training. Like, I used it to learn combos, especially when Iceborne came out. They added some new weapon mechanics to the weapons. I'd go there to learn them, and then I actually put them to the test in the field. But in Rise, what they've done is, it looks like, at least currently, it's just a Tetranodon doll, like a big, wooden Tetranodon that you attack, see how much damage you're doing and all that shit. But what Tsujimoto Sensei was saying, you can actually change how this thing behaves. So instead of having to go on a low-level test hunt to actually learn how to do something, you might be able to do it in there. So it might make the training hall more interactive, which is a good thing. But yeah, overall, very nice presentation. The wyvern riding, that's going to be interesting. That's going to be a really interesting mechanic to see. And also, just talk about the demo right quick. The demo, there are 4 quests. There's a beginner quest where you fight a great Izuchi. There's an intermediate quest where you fight Mizutsune. There's a quest that teaches you how to use the wire bug, and then there's a quest where you learn how to wyvern ride. Now, apparently there are limits and shit, I don't really care about that type of stuff. Reason being, and I've never understood this, I don't get why some people are just dying to play the demo. And I believe even a YouTuber who I watch, they're like, hey, there's a way for you to get unlimited plays in the demo. And I'm like, why? it's a slice of the game. You can't really do much of anything. So why would you want to have unlimited pieces of just part of the game? Just wait 2 months, you'll get the full version. But hey, whatever, you know, float your boat. But yeah, so I'm gonna be streaming the demo tomorrow, January 8th. Probably gonna be like 7 to 8 p.m. Play that for like an hour and a half. Because I want to test out the weapons that I use. Of course, sword and shield, bow. Well, sword and shield is my main weapon. The bow, the hunting horn, charge blade, you know, and a couple other weapons that I actually do dabble in. Because, yeah, I just want to learn how to use, because I know how to use like 6 weapons. And I want to, I know a couple of mine fell off on, especially the longsword and the dual blades. I haven't used those in a long time. So I kind of want to get back onto using those. But yeah, it was a very good event. Download the demo if you haven't. It's only available for like early February. But yeah, it's really cool. You know, it's getting me more excited for the game. You know, some of these returning monsters, the thought of new monsters, new locales. Just I'm itching for a new Monster Hunter experience. And I'm glad this is coming. But let me know what you thought about everything in the comments. You know, like, comment, subscribe if you like what you heard. And is there anything that you didn't, is there anything you didn't like, anything that interests you about everything that's going on? Without further ado, this has been your boy, the D20, and I'm signing off. See you guys.